Hey everyone, Bada Bing here, and I am back with the Umarex VFC MP5A5 version 2 gas blowback SMG. I just cannot stay away from this thing. Today I'll be chucking in something new, and I thought I'd bring you along. So in 2 years, what's the story? A few months ago, while plinking away, I noticed that it wasn't feeding ammo. My worst fears were confirmed when I saw the loading tip on the nozzle had broken off. That's why it wasn't chambering BBs, just chomping on them inside the receiver. It almost made 2 years on the original nozzle. It naturally takes a beating due to it punching into the magazine's BB follower in order to cease the action after the last shot. I knew it was just a matter of time before one of these things failed. Luckily the spare parts are readily available, but unfortunately they are on the opposite side of the world to me. But that's the way it goes for some gas guns. Sometimes sourcing locally is never an option. Here's my new one, and the great thing about it is that it's been improved over the first nozzle, because it has a reinforced metal piece moulded into the nozzle tip. Looks like it's steel too. Nice. But I'm kind of worried that it's going to kill my BB followers. That's a problem for future me to worry about. Breaking into the bolt carrier can be a finicky affair. Well, technically it's putting it back together that's the hard bit. Here's what I do. I introduce this valve key to the base cap behind the nozzle. This'll help in the extraction process. Underneath you'll see the back of the piston. Use your finger or a tool to push it forward until half of the nozzle pokes out of the front. You should see a pin which secures both halves of the nozzle. Punch it out and you'll be able to move to the next step. Apply forward pressure from the rear of the carrier and pry the front part of the nozzle off. It should disconnect with minimal effort. If you're replacing the entire nozzle, push the rear part through the back. It's too bad that they can't come out from the front, but that's life. Now she's apart, in goes the new one by reversing the process. If you're installing a whole new one, there's 2 O-rings supplied. The smaller one seals up the 2 halves of the nozzle, and the larger one is for the base. Now here's the tricky part. The piston base has a small nub or protrusion that the return spring sits on. Align this up with the nozzle channel and then rest the spring within it. The front assembly goes spring first and then the cylinder valve. Inspect it's orientated correctly before attempting re-entry. That's what she said. There's a few ways you can do this, and each presents their own problems. Ideally, you need to ensure your return spring stays within the channel as you're guiding both sections together. The rear section is the difficult piece because it is free to move around inside the carrier. This twisting can have an adverse effect on the return spring that indexes on the nub, so it might help to mark out that nub on the back with a paint pen. It's annoying that VFC designed the nozzle assembly this way, but the rear half can only be installed through the back, and you have to carefully align it with the spring to reassemble it. Insert the rear half and hold it there, and then you can guide the front half in. If it's all aligned correctly, allow the front end to slowly push back the base section, while still keeping enough pressure to close the space between them and interlock. It may take you a few tries as the rear half likes to spin off a few degrees, and this twists the spring around, which can cause a jam. The more times you fail, the more the return spring will get mangled, and then it'll take even longer to get it back in. With patience you will prevail, and it should click when the 2 halves are connected. Give it a visual inspection and test it out a few times. There is another way to do it, which involves dropping the rear section in with the front assembly already in its place, but I had limited success with this method. The base just wanders off so easily, so that's why I do it the other way. Next, knock in the pin and screw on the nozzle base cap, and now your MP5 is done. And this was super annoying to capture the process on camera, because that return spring isn't straight anymore, following a lot of failed reassemblies. But I hope this helps. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to show your support, feel free to like and subscribe. If you'd like to show your appreciation even more, you can buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com. Keeps me caffeinated and also helps out the channel. Links in the description. That's it from me. Take care, my friends. Catch you in a bit.